High Bazaar is a private cannabis event that has been held since 2022. The Masonic Temple Day Spring Lodge in Hamden hosts these events, which in the past has attracted hundreds or even thousands of people. The event is what many news outlets and politicians call a cannabis gifting party, in quotations, where attendees pay a fee for entry and can purchase cannabis accessories or obtain gifts that come with cannabis. Now, Connecticut Attorney General William Tong is claiming that the event violates state law. Tong recently sent a cease-and-desist letter to High Bazaar event host Joseph Acutullo and Cody Roberts. Our office has been aware that you are involved in organizing recurring unlicensed cannabis markets under the name High Bazaar. It appears that these events involve the illegal marketing and sale of cannabis outside of the regulated market, and that the events are accessible to individuals under the age of 21, stated the cease and desist letter. These events appear to violate the Connecticut Unfair Trade Practice Act, CUTPA, General Statutes 42-110A, et sec, the Responsible and Equitable Regulations for Adult Use Cannabis Act. So if you want to read more into that in Connecticut, you can go there and check it out. We'll have the story posted on highat9news.com, so go there and check on that. It goes on to say, we request that you cease holding these events immediately. If you do not do so, our office will explore all legal options. That's a nice threat from the state attorney general. Neither hosts have commented on the letter yet, but the CT Insider spoke with Christina Capitan, CT Canna Warriors founder, who has previously been involved with High Bazaar. Capitan described Tong and his office Capitan described Tong and his office are against us in service of corporate monopoly, puts former Governor Ned Lamont and as the face of the drug war 2.0. While we are disappointed, we are not surprised, as this simply is a continuation of Governor Lamont's effort to criminalize cannabis home growers while simultaneously denying anyone without millions the ability to get a legal license in Connecticut, Captain says. Another Canna Warriors member, Ivelisse Correa, explained the harmless nature of the events. It's just a flower. We're not selling crack. This is a craft cannabis community, Correa said. Not everyone is happy with the current state of Connecticut's cannabis industry. Luis Ronaldo told CT Insider, why now is the time to reevaluate these cannabis events. It's time for us to collectively pivot to a more populist solution, one that opens up the market to local small craft producers and caregivers, Ronaldo said. While the High Bazaar has remained private, it has created a stark divide between advocates and politicians. On one side, we have a group of advocates whose net impact on cannabis policy has been regressive, after flaunting their exploitation of the gifting loophole and forcing state legislators to close it, Ronaldo explained. On the other side, we have elected officials who, instead of serving the people, serve as enforcers of market share protectionism for the state's four incumbent licensed producers. All while frustrated patients and consumers continue to source from outside Connecticut's regulated market due to ongoing quality, pricing, and trust concerns. In March of 2022, House Bill 5329 was introduced, and by May, it was signed by Governor Ned Lamont. It implemented limitations for cannabis gifting, as well as charge violators $1,000 for gifting. Recreational cannabis sales launched in Connecticut in January of 2023, which existing medical cannabis dispensaries to be licensed to sell adult use cannabis. Immediately after the sale began, though, some legislators proposed changes to the state's cannabis program, including new application fees. In February, Attorney General Tong sued 5 retailers for conducting Delta-8 THC cannabis product sales under the Connecticut's Unfair Trade Practices Act. Cannabis products in Connecticut cannot be sold by unlicensed retailers and must meet rigorous testing and packaging requirements, period, said Tong. Any unlicensed Connecticut retailer selling Delta-8 THC products that purport to contain high levels of THC is breaking the law and may be subject to both criminal and civil penalties. While adult use cannabis sales in Connecticut continue to rise, as of December 23, annual cannabis sales earned between January 23 and November 23 reached $127 million. That includes an increase in monthly sales for every month last year, with January kicking off sales at $5.1 million, followed by increases in February, 7.02, March, 9.6, April, 10.2, May, 11.5 million, June, 12.5 million, July, 13 million, August, 14 million, September, 14.3, and so on, ending in November at $15.3 million for that month. Medical cannabis, on the other hand, has been fluctuating slightly in overall sales, with the lowest income recorded in January of 23 with 8.2 million and the highest set at 12.6 million in March of 23. Recently, in December of 23, though, there were alcohol sales are prohibited on Christmas Day and New Year's Day, cannabis sales were still permitted. And because we regulate many things you may be wondering about, Connecticut law does not prohibit the sale of cannabis or limit your ability to place wagers during the holiday, said Consumer Protection Commissioner Brian T. Caffarelli. No matter how you choose to spend the holidays, please know your limit or arrange designated drivers and be respectful to the establishments and the communities where you celebrate. All right, that's the story. That's interesting about Connecticut. I didn't know they had like such rules about consumption on holidays. That's interesting. But nonetheless, this isn't surprising that they're sending letters, but what do you guys think? I mean, California's been doing the sessions for a long time, so Jason, I know you got some history there. Why don't you enlighten us a little bit?
Well, I find it interesting that that they're sending him this cease and desist order for having a sesh or whatnot, and why? Connecticut is so small, why not just go to Massachusetts and do it? Or go to Vermont and do it. There's all these states that surround Connecticut that they could do it outside in. It's not like Connecticut is it's 3 hours to get into another state.
Yeah, I mean,
why is it illegal to get a joint in a legal state at a festival?
Because they're not making money off of it. That's why it's illegal, because they're not making money off of it.
Just so frustrating. You can do it, but you can only do it here.
It's just like
here, you have to.
Isn't it just like the last story, though? It's like you can grow them, but you can't have them.
Right.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. At least they stay consistent on it.
Does that everything to the left of the thimbles, to the right of the erasers, above the pencils?
Exactly. What do you think about this, Stone?
Make it illegal to smoke a joint with a friend? Is that gifting as well? That's so stupid.
Oh, I mean, they're gonna give you $1,000 fine. It's just. We're going backwards. Like I said, the laws they've signed are regressive. They're not helpful. It's just interesting to see kind of like some of these more corrupt, systemically corrupt places and municipalities, like in places like Connecticut, what's happening. I mean, the local government can really make it miserable. I mean, Pennsylvania and now apparently Connecticut are kind of testaments to that. Pennsylvania, the way they have their liquor distribution and their cannabis program distribution is kind of crazy. I like it for some things, but also just I don't like that they're implementing such restrictions on businesses where this is supposed to be a free market, open to innovation, and you have to play between some boundaries. But when the government tells you can't use certain ingredients because they're not derived from the plant that they're taxing you to death on, it just doesn't make any sense. It's like, how far is that reach going to go? That's always the concern. Obviously, we're seeing massive overreach in many different ways now, by local and federal governments in many different regions in the world. That's how I kind of view it. Is just like, this is just they're just we're giving them the stick to beat us with on that, and that's what's
I mean, knowing the Connecticut industry, we've been covering it for the last couple of years. They've had issues from the jump. It's like a cartel state. They only have four.
It's actually a Democratic state.
a cartel state.
Yep.
Doesn't
Okay,
matter if
fair
you're
enough,
it
fair enough.
doesn't matter if you are yeah, it doesn't matter if you're a Democratic or a Republican, but yeah, they had only like 4 farms that were able to supply the entire industry, and 2 of them went down. I believe it was like last winter. Like 2 of them went down with like mold infections, and they cut off 50% of the whole supply to the state. So you already have people going to Massachusetts to procure whatever they wanted. I was actually out there 2 holiday seasons ago, and the weed is absolutely trash, man. Like, why? I don't know why anybody would legally get anything from that state. So it's only natural that you would have the quote unquote craft industry actually coming through and trying to do their own thing there. They need to find a way. I think the Connecticut government needs to find a way to work with these folks, because their whole industry is gonna just implode. Like, nobody wants that booth, nobody wants those prices, and they're gonna just continue going to Massachusetts, going down to New York to get their shit, and government's not gonna get anything out of it. So,
yeah,
very true. Very, very true. I mean,
yep, just a perpetuation, but it's all our fault, so it's okay. We just take the blame, take it on the chin, smoke that kush.
Or if they want, or if they wanted, if they wanted to, they could always just start a new corporation, maybe a Delaware corporation, and then say that they're operating under this thing, and then get a whole new cease and desist order for that company.
There you go, and they won't know who runs that company if they're a Delaware court. So
the government's trying to put a kibosh on that right now, man. They're trying to unmask these shell companies in Delaware.
Don't they? They never learn from this. It's like once you kill one weed, they're just going to pop up 2 or 3 other ones over here.
Yeah, Joe Biden is
illegal
Mr.
dispensary in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
exactly.
Man, awesome.
This is a good one. I hope that the Connecticut cannabis community, triple C's right there.
Mm-hmm.
Hope they get their shit together, and I hope that they are allowed to just persist with this, because they're just going to turn everything into the trap.
I think they're going to be fine. They're going to this Attorney General Tong is going to have enough problems with all of the THCA in the gas stations being sold in Connecticut. Right. So it's like, he's cool. They're cool. They just got to ride it out. They're just going to have
battles.
Like, pick your battle there. I think that there's all kinds of issues on the rise with all this stuff. So we'll see. Just grab your popcorn, people. It's going to be interesting.
It's going to be an interesting year. Yes, indeed.